One against all. Why car mechanic Marvin Heemeyer is called the last hero of the USA. Marvin Heemeyer is a simple American hard worker, faced with the tyranny of a large corporation and city authorities. When it became clear that he would lose the legal battle, the man decided to develop a plan for revenge. It cost him his life, but Marvin became known throughout the world as a fighter against the system, who at the last moment did not bend to the circumstances, but fought back. Car mechanic and war veteran Marvin John Heemeyer was born in the USA in 1951. He served in Vietnam as an airfield technician, and after demobilization he returned to his homeland, where he and his partners opened an auto repair shop in Denver. In the early 90s, he sold his share and moved to the town of Granby, which had only 2,000 residents, for $40,000. The man bought a small building on the outskirts of the city and opened his own workshop in it, where he repaired car mufflers and assembled snowmobiles. Marvin received a military pension, lived by his labor, and loved to ride in the mountains on a snowmobile in winter. A few years later, a cement plant was built in Granby, which became a city-forming enterprise, and the bulk of the population got work there. In the vicinity of the plant there were several small warehouses and workshops, among which was Heemeyer's repair shop. When the plant needed additional space to launch a new production line, corporate lawyers suggested that the landowners sell the land. Everyone except Heemeyer agreed. According to the plant administration, the man was offered $250,000, and he agreed to the deal. However, then he asked for $350,000. And after a while, $1 million. Car mechanic against everyone, supporters and friends of Marvin claimed that the plant did not want to pay the man even $250,000. The administration of the enterprise preferred persecution of what they believed was a defenseless car mechanic to a legal transaction. Heemeyer's workshop was surrounded by factory territory, cut off from light, water, and sewage. The sewage had to be removed by wheel transport, for which Marvin constantly received fines from the local sheriff. The siege lasted several years, and in 2001 the city administration approved a planned expansion project. This deprived Heemeyer of access to his own workshop. The man tried to appeal the decision in court, but did not achieve any results. Instead, the city sodded its resident a fine of $2,500 for another violation. Simple hard worker Marvin John Heemeyer endured for a long time. The whole city turned against him. The mayor, the sheriff, and all the local authorities sided with the corporation that persecuted the 52-year-old Vietnam veteran, and then he decided to take revenge. Armored car in the garage at an auction of used equipment. Marvin bought a Komatsu D355A crawler bulldozer. With his help, he wanted to build a road to the auto repair shop, bypassing the plant. But the authorities did not give permission for construction work. Heemeyer knew how to work with his hands, and in a year and a half turned the bulldozer into an armored personnel carrier. Marvin welded a box of 2 layers of steel 1.27 centimeters thick. He filled the space between the sheets with concrete. The weight of the structure was a whole ton. The result is an anti-cumulative shield that can protect not only from bullets, but also from a grenade explosion. On June 4, 2004, a man drove a bulldozer into his garage, climbed into the cab, and lowered the box using a homemade remote crane. Heemeyer found himself locked in the cab. He took with him 2 rifles, a pair of pistols, ammunition, a gas mask, water, and beer, for good visibility. He installed several video cameras connected to the displays and equipped loopholes for firing. At 14:30, the car mechanic left the garage. Further events went down in history as Heemeyer's revenge. Bulldozer in the city first. The bulldozer drove into the plant and rolled out everything it could reach. The next address was the police station. Heemeyer demolished the building and crushed all the cars in the parking lot under his tracks. The mayor of Granby got it too. Marvin drove a bulldozer towards City Hall and tore down the buildings for Wade. He destroyed the judge's house and the office of the local newspaper. While Marvin was visiting guests, police cars were chasing him. Law enforcement officers fired pistols at the armored car. But the 9mm caliber was powerless against the sandwich with armor made of steel and concrete. The Avenger fired back, but, as the police themselves recalled, he did not aim to kill, but only tried to drive his pursuers to a safe distance. During the destruction of a local shopping center, a bullet ricocheted through the radiator of a bulldozer, and the car stalled. A Special Forces detachment armed with M16 rifles and grenades arrived at the scene of the destruction, but they were also useless. For dozen police officers did not know how to get Heemeyer out of the bulldozer, who opened fire as soon as they approached. The only thing the authorities did was to evacuate the residents of the town. At 16:30 to the last, shot was fired from the bulldozer. The police used an autogenous gun to open the armor of the bulldozer and found Heemeyer in the cabin, who committed suicide. The last U.S. hero, Marvin, shot himself in the forehead. His city lay in ruins. The armored bulldozer caused $5 million in damage to Granby and $2 million to the cement plant. One random person died that day. The plant received insurance and resumed operations 10 days after the incident. In one of the interviews, the new mayor of Granby joked that as a result, the plant remained in their city. But they finally got rid of Marvin, while television presented Heemeyer as a psychopath. On the internet, he was called the last U.S. hero who challenged the authorities and the corporation. A simple car mechanic and Army veteran did not put up with the arbitrariness of the authorities. He built a tank in the garage and destroyed the city, which abandoned him. But this did not make it any easier for his neighbors. 6 months later, Marvin's bulldozer was dismantled into pieces and sent to landfills. This was supposed to prevent supporters of the Avenger from stealing car parts for souvenirs.